All right, welcome everybody to another episode of the ShopNotes Podcast. I'm your host, Phil Huber, and I'm joined, as always, by Logan Whitmer and a special guest today, Tobias Bridges from Powermatic Tools. So we're going to talk about tools and anniversaries in today's episode. It's number 83. Just a reminder that today's episode is brought to you by Shaper Tools, the makers of Shaper Origin, the handheld CNC router that brings digital precision to the craft of woodworking. Tackle joinery, cabinetry, hardware installation, and more with speed and precision. You can try it risk-free in your shop for 30 days. Visit shapertools.com to learn more. All right, Logan, I believe you have the connection with today's special guest, so why don't you introduce him?
So we have Tobias here from Jet Powermatic. Tobias, do you want to give us a little bit of background on yourself and how long you've been with Jet Powermatic?
Yeah, sure. Hey, everyone. Tobias Bridges. I'm the Director of Product Development and Management for Powermatic, as well as the Jet brands at JPW. And it's exciting I'm very excited to be here and just talk about our brands and woodworking in general. I've been with the company just over 3 years now, getting close to 4 years now. But I've been in the tool industry a very long time, a lot of hand tools, whether it was construction or mechanics tools. And I've been working with my hands ever since I could remember, back in the day, building skateboard ramps, out of wood and cutting and just doing all that fun stuff. So that's really where my passion started. And to be able to work with a company that has the brands like Powermatic, to have equipment that I know and I trust and use every day is really awesome to manage. So, that's kind of a little bit of my background.
Awesome. We've had a relationship with Powermatic for a long time, and I think everybody in the industry really knows the Powermatic name. And you guys are rolling up here on a pretty big anniversary, huh?
Yeah, that's right. It actually all started in 1921, where Powermatic got started in McMinnville, Tennessee. So this year, we're celebrating our 100-year anniversary of Powermatic. And it's been awesome. It's been a really fun year so far, even with all the chaos going on in the world, right? We're managing to find some good times and celebrate our history and our performance of the brand with woodworkers. We've been doing a lot this year. We launched a series of special edition SKUs for our Powermatic 100 anniversary. It's back in April. We came out with really some of our most popular SKUs. We powder coated them a black metallic sparkle, which is a really cool finish for it. And then we also put some gold ribbons and stripes on the products with a really cool custom 100-year anniversary badge. They were limited edition, and the first wave of those SKUs launched. We had a dust collector, we had a joiner, a planer, as well as a bandsaw. And so those basically all sold through, which is great. They're really cool SKUs. They're hard to get your hands on, and especially with any machines right now, it's hard to get your hands on pretty much anything. Yeah. So it's great to see those go to good homes. And then we've got the second wave of the next series of 3 products coming out in October, where we have our table saw, we have a drill press, and then we have our Powermatic lathe. So we're really excited for Wave 2 coming up in October. But it's just been great so far. A lot of great feedback from the woodworking community on the SKUs, celebrating a 100-year anniversary, and just sharing what we do, with woodworkers.
Yeah, I got a chance to see the lathe out in Vegas at AWFS.
Yeah.
Stuart Beatty was doing some AAW demos on it, and it's funny because on the website it looks like just a black powder coating, but it's kind of like a automotive black pearl coat. It's super cool. So I wonder how many people, because these are a limited run. There was just a couple hundred of each. Is that right?
Yeah, we we tried to do since we knew it was going to be popular and a lot of people really wanted them. we try to do half a year's inventory that we would normally do in this custom color.
Sure.
And it's unfortunately we didn't do enough. There's still quite the demand, but you're right. It does have an automotive type of finish to it, which is really great. And too bad we couldn't get that laid out in that Las Vegas sun. That thing would have been really sparkling.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Well, it was also 110 degrees, so nobody would walk by it at that point.
I wouldn't have done that to Stuart.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, I wonder if, because these are a limited run, is there going to be that one guy that has the new in box 30 years from now, and he's going to be flipping it for a profit?
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And, one of the other things I forgot to mention is each one of these SKUs have been coming with some free accessories when you go with it.
Oh,
so,
gotcha.
So coming up, we've got our brand new gear-driven drill press. It's 20-inch, and it comes with a really cool micro jig custom table, clamping table that comes with it, along with a 3-pack of really awesome blades for the table saw, and then the lathe comes with a brand new LED light, as well as a nice anti-fatigue mat. So we're trying to just hook people up with the things that they would typically want to purchase after they get the machine, that just come with the machine. Just as some little celebration. So
yeah. And just because I'm a turning fanatic, and I know there's a couple guys that listen that are, it's the 3520 is the one you guys did, right?
Yeah, 3520C. So it's our premium one, the most popular, and really the workhorse, of our brand.
Yeah. So cool. So so Powermatic, 100 years old. Mm-hmm. How did Powermatic get its start? What was the first product that Powermatic brought to market?
Yeah, awesome. So glad you asked me that. It's so in McMinnville, Tennessee, our founder of the company, owned a lumber company, right? So he was just trying to sell lumber, and he had his customers were asking for something a little bit more finished, and he had a lot of trouble trying to find a company that would actually help him with a machine to finish the lumber. So he invented his own planer and basically built his own prototype planer, and started planing his own boards for his customers. And it became so popular, people were asking him for planers, that about 7 years later, he invented, he created the Powermatic brand and went full-time into making machines. And planers were the first thing he did. So it came out of necessity, right, and a demand for a better product of lumber, and so he created the planer. So, and probably another 15 years went by, and he came out with the joiner, then another 10 years table saw, and just built the categories of the products that woodworkers trusted with that brand, to today, where we have just under 100 SKUs in about 12 different categories of products. All dedicated to high-end woodworking.
Awesome.
I think it's kind of amazing that you get a company, especially in our competitive environment, that can last 100 years. I mean, we've just seen, other power tool companies with as venerable a name as Powermatic not being able to survive.
Yeah.
So what do you think, what makes Powermatic different in that regard?
Well, I think basically it's the quality, right? The quality of the product is what woodworkers need. It's about the longevity. It's about the features and benefits that make the product easy and intuitive to use. Not to mention safety. Safety is always, when we talk to woodworkers, safety is always their number one concern. And so making sure you have a product that's safe is critical, that can stand the test of the abuse that woodworkers will provide on a machine. Obviously, there's so many different types of woods and styles of woods and cuts you can make. So making sure that the quality of the equipment can handle that and repetitively has probably been what's really given us the edge in woodworking machines out there. And we've been doing it a long time. We also have a great technical service team. We actually are celebrating one of our tech service gentlemen who has been with the company now 43 years.
Wow.
So, we have history, we have knowledge, and to be able to share that with our users is really important to us.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine that you also probably have some pretty long-term relationships with folk who have some pretty vintage machines too, right?
Yes. Yeah, we have, the number might escape me, but I know that it's going to be in the ballpark around 200,000 parts, that we house at our plant,
Sure.
In our warehouse. And so not all of these are brand new parts. A lot of these
Right.
are kind of, we're getting down low, but you wouldn't believe the requests that we get for people with these really awesome vintage Powermatic machines. It doesn't matter if they're blue or green or gold. The colors have changed over the decades, but the machines are still the same, and the people that run their machines are just hell bent on making sure that they keep running, right?
Right.
If we don't have the part, it's amazing. These people will find a machine shop and make it themselves so that they can keep their machine running, which is really awesome. We've been lucky enough to, as you mentioned, have a lot of relationships with people with some historic machines that are still in use today, and it's fun to go shoot videos at their place and just kind of, even for me, being with the company just almost 4 years, learning about our machines and our past and how we've progressed and added innovation to the future machines. It really helps to see the past to make a better future, right?
Yeah. And I think what's kind of cool is to see, unlike, say, old cars where you have people that have old cars and they're sort of a garage queen, they drag them out for the summer shows or something like that. I've seen quite a few people that have, whether it's an old Powermatic drill press or table saw, and they're demanding high-level work out of it on a daily basis, even though the thing's, 60, 50 years old. They're not just highly polished shop ornaments.
Yeah. Well, we have a little of both, that's for sure.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's great to have a product that spans the realm of end users. We have personas within our wood department that we classify our wood users, and they start out with what we call the splinters, right? And the splinters are new woodworkers. Typically, someone that might be buying more hand tools with some power tools, maybe some portable saws, right? And then we get into people that we call our woodies. And our woodies are really where, people are starting to experiment with machines. Maybe they can't afford the highest end machine. They're still learning, but they're doing more challenging projects. And then we get into what we call our hardwoods. And our hardwoods are really our Powermatic, people. They're really our users that understand woodworking machines. They're very passionate, whether it's a profession or a hobby. And so, we try to look at every one of these end user types as we develop products to make sure that we have something for every one of those personas and make sure we're just capturing exactly what they need. And Powermatic has been a fun one because you get to go out to these professionals and these really high-end hobbyists and they a lot of the times they know a lot more than I do about not just woodworking but machines, because they've been around them so much longer. So it's great to learn more about our own machines from just really true passionate woodworkers.
Sure. So in talking to these type of people, is there one wish from them, from the industry, that you guys don't offer that is, I don't want to, give anything away that you guys are working on, but is there one resounding, like, we need this type of machine?
Well, I will say within our categories of products, the one that comes to mind is something I see more and more these days, and it's really the CNC.
Yeah.
It's really, technology coming into machines. We do have two models, just different sizes of a CNC, our 4x2 and our 2x2. and they're great. But I think looking into what is that next technology, how can you make machines smarter and easier, and from a performance standpoint, how can we integrate new technologies into our machines? And CNC is just a perfect example of the beginning of what I think it's going to be. Making machines smart, and that's what it's going to be in the future. So keeping our eye on that, knowing that we have a 100-year brand, knowing that people might think it's an old brand. It's really, we're just forging forward with technology into the future with new products. And I think CNC is a great place to start, knowing that, it's such a popular thing these days, and there's so many end users that know about technology. Sure. And they want that technology in their machines to help them create things that would have been really hard for them to do, whether by hand, or with other tools. So I think that being a focus of ours going forward is going to be right on par with what the industry is going to be doing.
Yeah. Now, looking at your guys' lineup, obviously you said CNC. There's a handful of tools that I think about when I think Powermatic. And generally they tend to be the tools that we have here from a Powermatic standpoint, which is kind of the standard woodworking tools, joiner, planer, table saw, drill press, lathe, maybe a sander and a bandsaw. But the Powermatic, I'm looking at the Powermatic lineup right now. Like, you guys have a handful of things that I just was not aware of, and some of them definitely appear to be more or geared towards the industrial user or the industrial shop. Like, you guys have a shaper, which I did not know, and a rip saw, panel saw. Obviously, you guys have a power feeder that you can put on some other stuff, and a dovetail machine, which is interesting. There's actually two different dovetail machines.
Yeah, we have a couple different versions, whether you want to do it manually or have it automated.
Yeah,
right?
Which is super cool. So you guys obviously have a large portion of your, maybe it's not a large portion, but you guys have a portion of your consumers that are in an industrial setting.
Correct. It's we do have a good mix of heavy what we call production equipment. Up to 43-inch wide sanders,
Sure.
And as you mentioned, the rip saws, those are really for lumber yards or people trimming down heavy stock, to panel saws that you'll see at, the big box retails, to help people cut down their flat stock and their sheet boards, right? It's really amazing to go into a cabinet shop and a mill workshop and see, as you mentioned, our some of our bigger equipment running, especially the shapers. I went to a department. There's a vintage mill workshop in Nashville, and these guys do all kinds of certain trims and household items, and it doesn't matter. If it's wood and it goes in a house, they're doing it, and they have one of our shapers with a power feeder on it, and it's one of the scariest things to see because it is just so powerful, and you're cutting shapes that are so amazing, and not just straight through, but on all kinds of curves and arcs and on planes, and to watch this thing just make this amazing detail and trim work with this machine that you have to be in an environment that really does this, and their tool shop has a wall full of just profiles that fits this machine, probably 200 profiles, and it's sometimes you forget these machines are out there, and then you go see one in action, you're like, wow, that you can't do that without a machine like this. You have the edge right now, in a custom home building because you have someone that has a machine like this. So it is exciting to see some of those industrial products in action that you wouldn't typically see in anyone's, nice garage or something.
Yeah. So if coming from a hobbyist standpoint, that I have a sawmill. I just clicked on your guys' straight line rip saw. It's 15 horsepower. Yes. What the heck? I don't even know what to do with that. That's awesome.
Yeah, just running power to your garage for that, right?
Well, it's no problem.
Another story.
No problem.
Yeah, but it's as I mentioned, it's important to keep these production guys going with the machines that they need. And it's really funny these days because since there is such a shortage of machines for everybody, and not just on a U.S. basis but global. I mean, obviously, I'm sure that you guys had this discussion a million times, but COVID has really helped the woodworking industry advance, find new users,
Sure.
new hobbyists. So many new woodworking or woodworkers have come out of COVID just because they've had to either change jobs or they've decided to spend all that time at home on a hobby and picked up woodworking. We don't. We've been selling a lot of these production machines just because there hasn't been a lot of the regular machines. So it's good to see that happen. People are getting into bigger things, and that's great. But we also have, done some product development as well as, for smaller machines in the Powermatic brand.
Sure.
Because we know there's a lot of people that want that high level of quality and those features and benefits that are Powermatic. But not everyone's at that professional and production level. So it's been fun over the past to develop. Just last year we launched our Powermatic 2014 lathe, and basically took that 3520C, that heavy duty, fully featured product, and just shrunk it, into a 2014 with almost all the same features and benefits, even some additional adjustability. And that's been one of our top SKUs right now. We can't make enough of those. And it's exciting to see not just the industrial takeoff, but also catering to these new woodworkers at a higher level, or someone that might just not have a huge shop they can go to every day and want something portable to take to turn-ins, or just have in their one-car garage, but want that quality machine. So it's important to try and find something for everyone.
Sure. Now, forgive me because I'm going to steer this in a different direction really quick. Obviously, you're the on the Powermatic side of it, but can we talk about Jet real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Because as many SKUs as you guys have in Powermatic,
Yes.
Jet has to have many, many more.
We do have more. Yeah, absolutely. We offer more, and it's catered again to that woody, to the splinter and the woody. Those end users that are looking for that entry level, but also looking for something that has those features and benefits and the quality that is going to be that mid-grade level in majority of our machines. And then we also have a tier within Jet that has some higher level product as well. So the Jet really is an important brand for us. It balances out our Powermatic brand. We really have, between those two brands with the same company, something that spans every end user type and every need and machine that they would need to do some woodworking, right? And we do cater more for the beginner. So a lot of our product development these last few years have been about building a better benchtop, right? There's a lot of opening price point SKUs that you can pick up for on the cheap. And what we've tried to do is, we've tried to give those smaller SKUs a more premium feel with materials. We offer more cast iron in our products. We have better cutter heads. And we're trying to advance, that Jet brand to be really better than any, opening price point product, because there's a demand for it. We all know that as soon as you start woodworking, you might have limitations with money or obviously experience, but as soon as you get into it and you decide that this is something you want, your quality level needs to improve, and you want it to improve. And you don't want to invest in something that isn't going to give you quality right off the bat, right?
Yeah.
So that's where we try and position our Jet product is something that you're not going to have to buy some equipment and within 2 months now you're looking to sell it and buy something else, and sell it at a loss typically. Maybe not these days. I'm sure the secondary market is just awesome right now. But it's important for us to give you quality right off the bat. And that's where we position that Jet brand. It's I have so many woodworkers that ask me those questions. They say, hey, I've got this, or I'm about to get this. What do you recommend? And I let them know, hey, just like anything else, invest the money in early, and it'll pay off in the long run. Just get the right equipment up front, even if but make sure that you're happy with it. Make sure that you want to be doing this because it is an investment.
Sure.
But it's gonna make you happy in the long run, getting the right equipment up front.
Sure. Now, how does because I know there are many other products under the Jet line in the metalworking world, in the industrial, like
right.
My dad is a plant manager at a shop here in Iowa, and they just bought a Jet vertical mill. So is all that stuff live within the same family there, or is that kind of a different animal altogether?
No, it's interesting because machines are what we do, and our business is really separated into industrial and then our wood markets, right? So we have a lot of amazing metalworking machines. JPW is our company, but we have even more brands that we represent, more than just Jet and Powermatic. The W actually stands for Wilton. It's a lot of industrial tools, vices, a lot of different products, fans. We also own a company called Edwards, and Edwards are iron workers and for the automotive industry. So if you watch any of these guys on Motor Trend TV and these shops, and they're forming, fabricating, welding, bending tube, we offer all of those machines. And then within the Jet category of metalworking, we have our Elite brand, which is high end, as well as just our traditional metalworking machines. So, we offer just a plethora of machines, which is what we're really good at. But the benefit of having Jet Wood is that you have a lot of people that love their brands, right? And when you're in an industrial metal shop, there's a probably 95% chance that you're going to need to do some woodworking at some point. So it's nice to have the Jet brand recognized very highly in the metal industry, and then also when they go searching for more Jet products, they find our woodworking products. So we get the benefit of being able to have that transition in our wood into the metal department. And then now that we're seeing trends these days with furniture design and things that woodworkers are doing, you see them using more mixed material and bringing metals in and bringing resins and things like that. So it goes the other way. If someone's looking for some metalworking tools, Jet offers that for the woodworker as well. Maybe it's not a big 5-axis, vertical mill or something like that, but we definitely, within our JPW portfolio, have you covered. And one of the other great acquisitions that we made just over a year and a half ago was the Bayley industrial brand.
Oh, okay.
And again, this is, we're talking serious metalworking, fabrication, chip making products, as well as some additional woodworking products that we didn't have in the Jet and Powermatic brand, especially in the CNC market. So really excited to have that as an additional brand to help support all of our end users.
Awesome. Right now I'm looking at all the Bayley stuff. There's a lot of it, and it looks like it's definitely geared more industrial.
Yes. Yeah, it definitely is. It's high-end product. It's a professional grade product, and those users are very passionate. We have what we call our Bayley Army, right? And it's social media. It's almost a movement in the metalworking industry. And if you go to Bayley on any social media platform, it's the things that people post, the creativity, just like they would with woodworking, because I know, just end users in general that are creative love sharing what they're working on. They love sharing their passion and the things that they've built, and they love sharing, with a community how they do that, and just getting feedback. And so, it's really fun going to our social media sites, and Instagram, and looking at what people are posting that they just love to show what they've done with our equipment and how it's made a difference in their passions or their professional jobs and what they're building. And so if anyone has a moment, just go onto any of the JPW site. You can see all our different brands, and then just look at any of the social media links, and you'll be inspired. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that I've found. We get in a weird spot where somebody entering the woodworking hobby, obviously they're, like you said, they're trying to feel out whether this is for them or not.
Yeah.
And then they get to a point where they, buy a little bit of machinery. Maybe they buy new, maybe they buy used, maybe they buy the best right off the bat, maybe they don't.
Yeah.
But when people step in and use a quality machine, they know it, and there's a difference there.
Correct.
Which is kind of interesting. It's cool to see, and I think one of the nice things about Powermatic is, they're the best machines you can buy. In the woodworking industry. So it's cool to see the amount of people that back the Powermatic line. So
yeah, no, I appreciate that. We feel the same way.
Yep.
Well, I was wondering too, is especially in comparison to other brands, without making direct comparisons, is and the economic situation, say over the past 20, 30 years in tools, is being able to stay where you want to be, because I'm sure you guys faced the same kind of economic pressures to value engineer something down to lower price points and trying to compete on price on stuff. And just wondering if you could talk a little bit, kind of some of the behind the scenes on what it takes to be able to keep Powermatic where you are.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I come from my background is engineering as well as industrial design, and into marketing and product development, and so I've had a lot of history being a design engineer and manager of engineering projects, to be able to know that value add and value engineering is just another tool that you can use to not just remove cost, but to maintain the quality and integrity of a product. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about, right? You don't want to offer less, and even with the pressures of having to charge more, right? It's kind of the opposite of what you really want to do for your end users. So when you're faced with those tough decisions of, okay, we as a company, we have to be profitable, but we know that our profit is only based on our customer base being able to want to keep purchasing our machines and using our machines in a way that is going to be beneficial for everybody. So depending on the opportunity, we have a great team, and I've done this in every really company I've been with. We take the same approach. You really try and find the items of waste first.
Sure.
So that first thing is just trying to find those areas of waste that aren't adding any value to the product. Maybe there are things in packaging that just are typically thrown away that actually don't add protection or don't do anything different, right? And then you work your way up to some of the critical feedback that you have to get to say, okay, do our end users use this feature? And you have to be really smart about the work that goes behind getting it's really a numbers thing, right? So statistics will say 10% of the people want this feature, 90% don't even use it. So that's a low risk item. If we need to remove that, we can, because it doesn't add value. And
Right.
At the end of the day, someone's paying for that 90% of the people don't use. So you start there and you get to the point where you don't want to devalue a product to the point where it's not going to be what it used to be. So even though we have the pressures in the industry to always be more profitable, costing pressures. Some you can't control, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the volatility of the steel market, right? We're at the mercy of that because it's what it is, and our machines are 80+% metal. So
Right.
we can only do so much about some of those things. Containers these days are, the cost of containers and shipping, that whole thing is out of our control. But we try to do what we can to adjust. But at the end of the day, we're a professional organization. We have professional products. Our end users, we want them to know that we are still the quality machines, and so we do as much as we can to mitigate any of that, to try and remove anything from our machines that really doesn't add any value, and keep all the features and the quality, obviously, the safety that is important. So it's a tough thing. It's almost a daily challenge, and it doesn't just happen as one whole in one time. Every piece of machinery and every category you have to look at, right?
Yeah.
Because you're kind of getting attacked from everywhere. So you have to make sure that you are very responsible in how you approach it, and then just go through the motion to make sure that at the end of the day you can offer exactly what your end user wants at the level that they want, and at the price point that they want to pay for it, and that's the end goal. There are lots of ways to get there, but that's typically how we try to approach that situation.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, and like you kind of alluded to, and it's the same type of thing that everybody in the tool manufacturing space right now is fighting with, is the volatility of materials and shipping, and just this. I mean, that's the stuff that you guys have to tackle daily, which is kind of ridiculous. I mean, it is what it is, but
it is. I feel bad. I mean, our product managers who in the past manage products, old and new. They develop new products, and that's what we love doing. We are product people. We are end user focused, and that's why we're in the business we are, right? And we are passionate about our hobbies, and that just so happens to be our work as well. But it's not fun. The part of the job these days that's not fun is going in and having to track, where every container is, when it's going to get here, but it's so important because our customers need to know, because our end users are wanting their machines and they've ordered this and they're waiting. And so, half the time we're doing logistics,
right.
instead of what we really love to do, but it's just as important.
Yeah.
We want to help our end users out. We want to give them every advantage we can, or every advantage they can, to help them get their machine and try and be up to date with everything that's going on. But it's crazy times. I mean, I've never seen this. I don't think anyone has, and you just, the tough thing is there's really, no one has a crystal ball to know when this is going to end.
I know.
It's more of an 8-ball, right? And you're just hoping it lands on the right thing. Every month it's just like, what's it going to be this month? And but we have a great organization that we're dedicated to trying to make sure that we can figure that out.
Well, I was just say that's one of the things that kind of rubs me the wrong way from being in the woodworking media world. I see a lot of feedback from every company, and it's users, end users, kind of complaining about not being able to get product. It's like it's frustrating when people don't realize how many balls are up in the air and how many issues there are from a supply chain standpoint everywhere. I mean, absolutely everywhere. And I know from like the sawmill industry, there are sawmill manufacturers that are right now taking orders for 2023 because they will not be able to fulfill them next year because of supply issues.
Wow.
So,
Correct. And we're closest to our wood, but you can go to any industry these days and find something that is hard to get a hold of.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's going to cost more. Or even having work done on your house. I know I'm outside of in North Carolina, outside of Raleigh, and everywhere I travel and even around here, it's hard to get contractors. It's hard to get anyone in to do anything because the materials are what's driving these delays, and
Yeah.
you can get on someone's schedule, but they have to wait until they get the materials. And I know COVID's causing a lot of people to do a lot of things around their house, like build pools. And I mean, good luck getting a pool in your, schedule and
Yeah.
put your house in the next 12 months or plus. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's every industry. So
Yep. So, but it appears that Powermatic is handling it pretty well.
yeah,
Which,
we're,
I mean,
we are.
after 100 years, that's what you get.
Yeah. We pretty much know what our forecast is and what people need, and as much as we try and follow that and blow it up, it's there's only so much we can do. But we're doing the best we can. We are on it every day. We've got a great team of people and great partners helping us out. So, hopefully this will run its course. And I really just want to see more people doing woodworking and getting their machines and being happy with. Unfortunately, there's a wait, but it's worth the wait. Once you get it, it's definitely worth the wait.
Oh, for sure.
Sure.
So, when does the next release of the 100th anniversary tools happen?
So October 1st is when the official launch date is for that Powermatic Wave 2. Really excited about that. We've been offering. Well, I wouldn't say offering, but basically running some campaigns about the tools themselves. We've been having contests pretty much every month on our social media site to have people submit pictures and things that they can win some free shirts and hats and some swag and stuff, which is just helping people share what they love about Powermatic over the last 100 years and what they love about woodworking in general, right? But we do have a really big contest that just kicked off last month in July, and it's really our celebratory contest for our 100-year anniversary. It's a sweepstakes that you can enter to win, and there's some amazing prizes on this. But basically, when you enter, you can go to our Powermatic website, and then you can click under the sweepstakes piece of the 100-year anniversary. And to submit, all you need to do is create a video, just a short video, something that educates or teaches someone about woodworking. And it can be anything about woodworking. And what we want to do, and it's really important that we share videos because, in these times, just submitting your name, for a great prize, and I'll tell you the prizes are amazing in a minute here, but it's really about sharing woodworking, sharing the passion, sharing your education, your hobby, your skill on whatever project you're doing. For someone that already might know or just doesn't know, or someone that's new, and it's something that we want people to do because we have so many woodworkers that are so passionate. You don't have to be a Powermatic user, a Jet user, a Bayley user. Just anyone that loves to share woodworking is who we're after to enter this contest. So all you do is create a video, you post that video to our social media using the hashtag Powermatic Makers, and basically that's how you enter. And at the end of October is when we're going to announce the prizes. I think we might review them in October and then announce them maybe at the beginning of November. But I tell you what, it's just about sharing your passion and sharing your knowledge. And in order to do, if you can submit that video, which we've already, just being July last month, we've got a ton of great videos coming in. But, to really reward our woodworkers and woodworkers that just are passionate about sharing their experience, the grand prize, well, actually, let me tell you first. We've got 10 third place prizes, and basically, you get to you basically are syncing up. You'll receive like a sync up tracker, which is worth about $60. The hardware part of this. The second prize is going to be a Powermatic PM100, so that's the anniversary edition dust collector, right? So you get machines right at second place. The first prize winner, you're going to get a Powermatic bandsaw, as well as a voucher to attend a woodworking school. So that's going to be pretty awesome, something like a Mark Adams school. And then our grand prize winner is going to be getting a Powermatic 100 table saw. as well as we're going to fly 2 people out to Nashville, Tennessee for a trip that, it'll include the airfare, lodging, as well as visiting our training center in Nashville, because that's where JPW is headquartered. So we've got some really awesome sweepstakes prizes, and what we really want people to do is just feel free to take some video clips. It doesn't have to be long. It can be long, can be short, but just something that really shows your woodworking or your passion or your skill and your education to share it. So that's really the just behind that big sweepstakes. It's going to be running for the next few months until we pick the winners, but I would just recommend that everyone that wants to take part in this opportunity to not just win a machine or a trip to Nashville or a woodworking school, to definitely just share your passion, right?
Awesome.
Cool. We'll put the link for that on our YouTube channel as well as on the show notes page for today's episode. Awesome. Well, it's been good to have you on, Tobias, and congratulations on a 100th anniversary for Powermatic.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Like I said, it's just about halfway through now, so we still have some really awesome things coming up. Sweepstakes, the second wave launch of the products. Just keep an eye out, everyone, for anything coming through your social media. We're always excited to post things about Powermatic there and share our passion. So thanks for having JPW, Powermatic, and myself on.
Sure. All right, I think that wraps it up for another episode of the ShopNotes Podcast. Like I said, you can find us on video on our YouTube channel, where we'll have links to some of the things that we've been talking about in today's episode. You can also check us out on our show notes page. That's at woodsmith.com/podcast. Want to thank our sponsor for today's episode, Shaper Tools, the makers of Shaper Origin. It's the handheld CNC that brings digital precision to the craft of woodworking. Tackle joinery, cabinetry, hardware installation, and more with speed and precision. You can try it risk-free in your shop for 30 days. Visit shapertools.com to learn more. All right, thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll see you next week for another episode of the ShopNotes Podcast.